Before that, one final piece from Sunday Breakfast this morning, and it's about the Reverend Rachel Mann, who's a priest in the Church of England. She's also transgender, lesbian, and a poet who plays guitar and loves heavy metal music. She spoke about all those things when she was guest speaker this weekend at the first open event organised by the Hull and East Riding LGBT Christian Fellowship. People travelled from as far afield as Suffolk and Blackpool to hear what she had to say about her experiences. Judy asked Rachel if her church regards her as a troublesome priest.
I think that they think I'm a bit of a troublemaker, but in the best sense of the word. I think actually if we are trying to be faithful to Christ, Jesus Christ himself was a bit of a troublemaker in a lovely, loving way, then if we're trying to follow his way, we will always be a bit turbulent, a bit troublesome. Regarding the hierarchy, I suspect some of them would like me to shut up sometimes, but actually I think they're used to me now. They know what I do, and I get an awful lot of support from bishops, archdeacons around the UK. So, yeah, I think people enjoy the fact that I'm a little bit different.
Why did you weep at the pastoral letter about same-sex marriage?
The ultimate thing that broke my heart about that pastoral letter is that the church should be the habitation of love. It should be the place of God's love indwelling and being shown to the world. And for those of us who, like me, identify as LGBT, we know that in the wider world, in the secular world, we are being affirmed, we're being acknowledged and recognised, yet precisely the community that should be demonstrating God's love most profoundly so often seems to be excluding it and presenting us with very, very harsh statements that says, thou shalt not, rather than saying, how actually can we support you? How can we embody God's love alongside you?
Why do you stay part of a church that doesn't want to wholly embrace you?
I think, in one sense, I think that's a mistaken question, because there is a sense in which all of us are living compromised lives all of the time. And we could say, why are we part of this club? Why do we stay in a society that isn't exactly as we want it to be? But despite all that I fear about the church, despite my anxieties that sometimes it can be the worst place to be gay, actually, we're just ordinary people for the most part. My experience of church is that you get a full range of views. It reflects society in its broadest sense. And on the ground, there is this groundswell of compassion, respect, love. I often feel incredibly affirmed when, for example, I come to a meeting like this, it's very affirming, but in the congregation that I serve, I feel terribly affirmed. And as someone who does feel called to serve as one of God's priests, really I want to serve people. And it's the people who keep drawing you back again and again and again. They drive you crackers sometimes, but God is in relationship and in the midst of us. And therefore, it's the relationships which sustain people like me. But who knows, one day maybe it'll get too much and I'll walk away. But for now, there is enough love to sustain me and others.
The Reverend Rachel Mann speaking yesterday at the first open event organised by the Hull and East Riding LGBT Christian Fellowship.